more things that give me strength when it comes to my faith. I think it started also as a child. My mom was strong in faith, and that's her first go to. And she always believed that even if you have to take some medicine, the idea comes first from your intuition, and then that way you know it's good. And I believe that. Um, I think the first sign, I think I was about 7, and I always had trouble with my throat, my tonsils. It was like what they called tonsillitis, and it would always stop me from breathing. And this one time, it basically made my nose bleed. And my mom put me in the tub, and the tub was filled with, when I looked at the bottom was just red. It was like a pool of blood. And I remember asking my mom if I was going to die. And I remember seeing my mom cry. And she said, "No, in the name of Jesus." And she began to pray. She lifted my head up, to clear my breathing. And I think after that prayer, I went to sleep and I dreamt. I remember the dream like it was yesterday. And the dream was I was talking to Jesus, and Jesus was about this tall, and he was walking on my shelf, and I was pointing at something for him to look, and when he leaned over to look, he fell, and I caught him. When I caught him, I woke up, and from that day on, forever, I have not had any problems with my tonsils or the bleeding profusely through the nose. And from that point, I always felt that it was normal to do your affirmations, to do your prayers. That's probably why I see affirmations and prayers as the same. And I remember knowing or seeing my mom, how she always suddenly knew things, like when she was like didn't have a way or know of another place to live. She would pack her things like she did. And when my cousins came over, because they heard what was going on, and they were just like, well, we'll take care of it. She didn't know. They didn't tell her, but they were surprised that all her boxes were packed and ready to go. And she would do things like that. And that's how I grew up, with the strong intuition. At that point in time, I never knew. And I had some slip ups, where I went through phases and stuff like that. And that's okay, because I had a solid ground to stand on. And then when things started materializing for me and manifesting in my life, I began to, oh, okay. You never get used to miracles. It's always thank you. Oh my gosh. It's always a wow type thing. Like the one time when we were staying in a hotel, and we had just crossed country, you know, moving, and I had $2 in the bank. Neither one of us had jobs yet, and it came to me to check my account once again. Of course, I tried to call different people to get money, but of course, because I wasn't working, I wasn't eligible for loans and so on, right? So my intuitive side kept saying check your bank account. And of course, I argued, why do I want to see $2 in my bank account? Blah, blah, blah. It just makes us more miserable. But I did it. And in my checking account, it was 2,500. I even called the bank to double check to see if it was mine, and they were like, yeah. And I even read the statements, and all it said was paid in full. And I knew immediately it was a miracle. And of course, I was thankful and grateful. And we went on to go further within our progress. And it was just little things like that where things just happen. I remember another strong point from when I was a kid. I think I was about 11, and my aunt and this lady and me and my mom were in a Volkswagen, and we went on this steep hill, and my aunt goes, oh, because the steering wheel had come loose, and she's like, Jesus. And the Volkswagen turned all the way downhill with all of us in it. And the people were frightened to come in to see because they knew we were all dead, but we were all still alive. I remember pounding my mom's chest because I was afraid, and she finally came to. And I was just like trying to wake her up. And that was a miracle. So I've had miracles, continue to have miracles all my life. And as the miracles happen, you build, you build, you build. That's where I stand now. It's like I know so much when it comes to miracles that no matter what, I know I'm going to make it through and make it higher. And I like to spread the joy. You know, it's not a hope, it's a knowing. And you always stay that way once you experience. Faith is something that you have to experience eventually in order for it to grow and flourish. Just thought I'd give my point of view. In the meantime, stay awesome. Have a great weekend.